So welcome to this episode of Dictate the Tempo. My name is Paul, one of your co-hosts, and I'm joined by two people tonight. We have Colin. Welcome in again, sir.
Howdy. Howdy.
I've decided to spoil us, Colin. I've gone back in time. I've done a bit of mad scientist, and I've pulled out a Football Manager time machine. And let me read you some notes to introduce this man in the only way that is possible to introduce such a legend. 56.1 thousand subscribers. 3 years since his last video. Pathetic. 4 videos with over 200,000 views. And over 16.5 million views on his channel. So we are welcoming tonight to the podcast, Golden FM. Paul, welcome in.
You're very kind, Paul. Thank you for that.
Oh, this is a
I
bit.
didn't know that myself, to be honest. All these statistics.
Well, you know, I went digging. When I knew we were going to have a man love session with you coming on, I had to go digging.
Thank you.
Now we go back 11 years now, Paul.
I was thinking
communicated.
2014, I suppose it was the first time.
Yeah, FM Central
when you were,
started.
FM Central. I found a tweet from October 2015 where I went on the podcast, but I think I went on a couple times, didn't I, back in the day? And we did a couple other things after that.
Yeah,
with a few other guys.
We had a group, and you were always very pleasant with your time to always help us out and come on the podcast. Because I think you were on quite a few times on the FM Central one, no doubt about it.
Yeah, back in the day. How many podcasts have you actually had now? Because I feel like you keep bringing various podcasts back over the years.
I think we've had 3 Football Manager ones, including this one and the FM Central one. And we had one in between, which Colin was actually part of as well. So don't just point at me. Colin also is slagging around on different podcasts.
I'm glad you're back, because was it October last year that you returned with this?
I think it would have been about then, yeah. In the build up to FM 25, we thought we'd strike while the iron was hot. I mean, the iron's been unplugged at this point, but we
can talk about that.
we keep striking at it though.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? With that thing now, that famous saying of if you throw enough stuff at the wall, something will stick.
Indeed.
But no, that's why we're doing it every couple of weeks. We're here just chatting Football Manager, and hopefully people enjoy it. I've had some very nice positive feedback from people, so thank you very much for that. But it's an absolute honour to have you on, Paul. But I guess I've got to ask, because somebody, especially when I clickbait the hell out of it, somebody will ask, where have you been and what are you doing? Like, I mean, first off, it's great that you're alive. I will start by saying that. You sound as beautiful as ever with your microphone against your mouth. So,
thank you.
Did the wife just ban content creation, or did you earn from your 16.5 million views? What's that? That's got to be like 1.6 million pounds, right?
Oh, I wish. Nowhere near enough. I mean, there's a variety of reasons why I've vanished, but I suppose the main one, I mean, you saying that I released a video 3 years ago, I thought it was longer than that, to be honest. But I think I tried to get back into it a couple times, I think, didn't I? And I just couldn't get back into it. But it basically stopped March 2020, which coincided with COVID and the first lockdown. So I think I'd been slowing down by that point anyway, but that was kind of like the nail in the coffin. My routine just changed. So I've always worked from home, which enabled me to do YouTube on the side. And I obviously continued working from home during COVID. But what changed was my wife started working from home as well. So my old routine was walk Jenny halfway to the train station, turn around, come back again, play Football Manager, record a video, edit a video, get it uploading, start my day job. That was my routine, and that changed. So it was great. I actually really enjoyed the first lockdown. Weirdly, I know some people absolutely hated it, but the first one for me was quite refreshing. I just felt like everything was being reset, and I was able to go for nice walks. We've got nice woodland near us. So I went for nice walks before work, and I just wasn't playing Football Manager. I just couldn't get back into it. And because I wasn't playing Football Manager, I couldn't make any videos. So that just carried on indefinitely, really. I tried to get back into it a couple of times and I just couldn't. And I have played Football Manager. I'm playing Football Manager right now, but I just didn't. I don't know. I just couldn't get back into creating videos, and that just carried on, and it's basically carried on for 5 years. And here we are.
I guess it's all about routine, isn't it? So I guess if your routine then doesn't involve creating videos, it, like you said, it's very difficult to get back into it.
Yeah, exactly. And there's been times where I've wanted to get back into it, and I just haven't been able to. And then other times where I don't really miss it at all whatsoever. But I do plan on making one video on this save that I've been doing over the last year. I literally started it a year ago, and I'm 12. I've just started my 12th season with West Ham, and winning it pretty much everything. It's got to that stage where it's a bit boring, but I'm still enjoying it actually. Weirdly, even though I'm winning everything. So I might make a video on that. But I've said that for the last two. So I played sort of journeyman's save on FM23, which was I loved it, and I thought, oh, I have to make a video on this once I finished it, and I just didn't. And I did that, and the same happened on FM22 with another save that I had, and I just it's annoying because I just had these plans to make these one-off videos, and it just didn't happen.
I think sometimes it's quite difficult to have that motivation to fire up the save file from the first season and talk about that second season, third season, fourth season, because especially for me, I mean, I have severe issues when it comes to concentration. I mean, I'm fairly sure I could get somewhere on some sort of a spectrum, but hats off to some people when they record like a 5-season rebuild in one video, for example, because if I have to recap the last 10 games of a save, sometimes I'm looking at the 10th game thinking, I can't remember what happened there. Like
I'm the same. I can't remember stuff.
I'm like, oh, people, this guy scored. I thought I sold him.
Yeah, occasionally I occasionally will tweet something out. I still call it Twitter, by the way. I occasionally tweet something out, and someone will reply and say, "Oh, I remember this player that from your save 10 years ago," and how do you remember that? I can't remember anyone. I can't remember any players from my saves. Well, apart from the odd one in Regen Rovers, but I don't know how people can remember that stuff. I don't. It's just gone. So that's why I suppose you've hit the nail on the head there with the two previous saves that I had on FM22, FM23. I really wanted to make a video, but I just left it too long. I should have done a video after each season, or recorded something after each season, then put it together into one big video. But is that the style now on YouTube then? Do people like play 5 seasons and then do one video?
The issue at the minute, Paul, on YouTube, and I'm sure Colin sees it as well, is for me, the heart of my channel has to be Let's Play stuff because that's what I enjoy doing. But a lot of people, like, I will use Omega Luke as an example, but this isn't me criticizing his content because I actually watch his rebuild, so I can't criticize something I enjoy watching. But a lot of people don't actually play the game, if that makes sense. Like, they simulate it. Yeah, they do the transfers, etc., then simulate it, then do the transfer simulate. So they could, like, if I sat at home for 6 hours one day and did that, I could get through a 5-season simulation, for example, and do a video on it. I don't think I'd be able to explain to the wife why I didn't go to work that day, but that's a different story. But yeah, I think that's the way it is at the minute on YouTube because Let's Play stuff, the view-wise, when you go through in general, unless you have a 200,000 channel, you're still maybe only getting 20,000 watching the video.
Yeah.
But you release a rebuild video, and you might get 150,000 watching if you have a 200,000 channel. So it's just the way YouTube it goes through them cycles, doesn't it? Like at some point the full Let's Play stuff might tick back in, at some point it might not. But I do see longer form content is doing better. So if I could complete a full season in a week, which I can't do. But I would like minimum. I would say you have to do one Let's Play video a week. I try to do 3 because obviously I do one season every 2 weeks on the channel.
Yeah.
But if I could play a season in a week, I would probably do it as one video and just release a 1 hour long video, because the longer form stuff is what's coming in, and you see it in the feedback view wise on YouTube for Football Manager content. But
And I suppose watch time is really important now on YouTube as well, isn't
yeah,
it? Rather than just views, it's like
but it's
watch
just
time is.
it's very difficult to. I mean, I physically can't do it. I'm working. I've got a 1-year-old baby. I've got my 2 10-year-old boys. I physically don't have the time to do it. Although I only have 1.5 weeks left to work, and then I start parent leave until August. But
Okay.
I guess parent leave doesn't mean coming and playing Football Manager all day, unfortunately. That would be nice though, right? Stick her in daycare. People like, where's she gone?
Yeah.
But I wanted to reminisce a little bit. I'm just going
Go
to
for
say
it.
two saves. I'm going to start off by saying that when me and my ex-partner separated, I will say that one of the most upsetting parts of that is the Region Rovers shirt has disappeared through that separation.
Oh no.
So I noticed,
Oh.
because when I moved into the apartment I moved into when I became newly single, before my wife now scooped me up, lucky woman, I put all
We
my
all made
Football Manager
mistakes.
shirts in the background, and I couldn't find the Region Rovers one. So I was
Ah.
devastated about that, by the way, because what a shirt that was. I've got a picture on my Facebook.
Which one did you have?
I had the like brownie looking coloured one with I'll find you a picture. I've got a picture on my Facebook of me
Black and
holding the
gold?
shirt. Yeah,
Or...
black and gold. It definitely had gold, but I had Northman 23 on the back as well.
I remember you sending me the photo.
I'm gonna have to. I'll find it and I'll put it in the video version of this podcast so people can see it, and I'll actually tweet about it. Oh, talk about Twitter. Do you know? For all these years, I've had notifications turned on for you. So,
What, for
but
Golden FM or my
yeah,
personal
no,
one?
for Golden
Or both?
FM. So when you messaged me on your personal one, I was like, "Huh, didn't know you had this one." But I was following you, so
Yeah, we're following each other. Yeah, I don't really get. That's the thing. I've noticed you've tweeted me a few times, but on Golden FM, but I just don't go on there. So I go on occasionally. I think, Paul tweeted me like 6 months ago.
don't worry.
Sorry, I
People
didn't.
ignore me
Sorry, I didn't
anyway on
reply.
there. So, but
I basically don't get any interaction on there. So
we'll speak about the one with the shirt first. Region Rovers was huge for you.
Oh.
I loved Regen Rovers. Obviously, there were 2 series. So the second one was the one that had the shirts, but the first one was special in a way because there was that moment at the end of the first season where I was going to get relegated. So I started the club in the National League South. I was going to get relegated, and we scored like a last-second equaliser or something through this player who I called Dr. Jones.
Yes, I was just about to say it was a doctor, but I can't think it was so long ago. I mean, fair play to us even
It was.
remembering that.
So that's the thing. Like earlier, I was saying I don't remember much, but I do remember the odd player from those series. Dr. Jones and Jack Young from series 1, from that first series. So that would have been FM 17, and then the second one was on FM 19, and that was part of the reason why I stopped YouTube, because I finished that series. It carried on into the FM20 cycle, and I think I finished it in sort of February or March 2020, alongside doing like a West Ham save on FM20.
Yeah. You always
they
went
both
West
finished,
Ham early.
Not always, but yeah, obviously as a hammer, I regularly manage them.
Nobody's perfect.
But that that was actually like the 2 West Ham series that I did in sort of latterly in my YouTube days. Both were I called Creating a Legacy, but they were both like every episode was just one season.
Yeah.
So I feel like I was a slightly early adopter to doing the whole, one season per video thing.
I think if we look at your content in general, I would say you and StatUp back in the day were.
StatUp, yeah.
You guys were the forefront of everything, and I think without you pushing YouTube, I don't think it would be where it is now in terms of content creation.
I mean, I would say probably Work the Space. Like Jack really did push things massively, and I think he was the first to go full time and quit his job and go for it.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm some people absolutely hate experiments, but I am kind of proud of the fact that I did it first and started it on FM13, believe it or not, these
Oh wow.
experiments. And a lot of people, like, I don't know how easy it is to search on YouTube now, but I remember you used to be able to search for something and you could like reverse it and go to the first video of the
Yeah,
search.
you can still
So
do
if
that.
if you do, I mean, you've had been scrolling forever now,
Hang on,
but the first one
I'm gonna
is
do it.
mine.
Hang on, I'm gonna do it.
Like the first one's mine, something like Messi versus Ronaldo, or I swapped Messi and Ronaldo, or something like that. Um,
Your
on
first ever
FM13.
video on your channel is called Golden FM's first video. What a start!
Yeah, so that would have been in 2012.
Yeah, and then you have
So
Football Manager 2012 Golden Moments, Football Manager 2012 Tutorial with 35,000 views in 2012.
what was the tutorial about?
How to install the FM12 data editor.
Okay,
And then you
yeah.
had a tutorial how to set up a network game. You had football. This is where you were at the front of Football Manager. Football Manager 2012 for beginners, part 1, part 2, and then you went
Probably
on
awful.
play tutorials. I mean, you didn't understand what thumbnails were at this point.
Well, no one did back then.
You had Golden FC.
Yeah, I created. So I started with Twitter. Really, I was sitting in the University of Southampton library, probably meant to be revising, and I created Golden FM on Twitter.
I am
And
seeing. I remember this. Wasn't it you and a friend who started it?
yeah, so my friend Tom, but so he helped me with Twitter, but he never transitioned to doing YouTube with me. We did like 4 podcasts, I think, very early on in the summer of 2012. But then I just took control of all of it. He sort of gave up after a year doing Twitter. There's the odd tweet from back then. I'm like, I can tell that's definitely not me that tweeted it. That was Tom.
Spelling is horrendous.
It's just the things he said.
I'm just going to let you know that Golden FC episode 15 was when you learnt about thumbnails.
Okay, there we go. I probably did it on
I think
made them on PowerPoint or something.
I think potentially I was thinking Microsoft Paint looking at them, to be honest with you, Paul.
It probably was Paint to start with, then I transitioned to PowerPoint.
You just stepped up.
But
you did a lot.
Probably, I mean, at the end of the day, you're probably still the most significant content creator from the whole Create a Club piece. I mean, with the Regen Rovers, because I was just trying to search my brain to think of anybody that I've watched that's really embraced the Create a Club. I know, like everybody looks for the stories of find a small club, do something somewhere in that. And what was the other one I could think of was when what Matt did with the Sunshine on Lathe is the only other one that Second Yellow Card did.
Dr. Benji did a couple, didn't he?
Did he? Okay.
I think so, like Thames FC or something. I can't really remember.
I think that was long after you, though, Paul.
Long ago.
Oh yeah, I mean, loads of people done Creative Club stuff, but maybe I was the first to do like a major
blow
thing.
Your trumpet.
Thank you. It's hard to remember. I definitely did experiments first.
I found them.
Yeah.
Just so you know, you did a Messi and Ronaldo switched experiment in FM 2013.
Yes.
Just after
and I
you
think
reached
I did
1,000 subscribers.
I think I did a team of Messis versus a team of Ronaldos or something.
Then you did Celtic in the English Premiership. I guess at that point you didn't like Rangers, so you just went with Celtic. I mean, there's you stamping your loyalty.
Was that when Rangers was still like in the full
potentially? Then you dumped Arsene Wenger and Alex Ferguson in League Two. You literally are doing experiments here in 2013, which people are still recreating now, but with different managers, different people, different clubs. I did a Celtic and Rangers in England this year.
How original?
Well, might just go through your channel and pick out all these ideas. Can Messi do it
some people did that
on a cold, wet night in Stoke?
Yeah.
Football Manager
Well, you
team
got
of
no. So on the Messi, could Messi make it on a cold night, wet, dark night in Stoke? We finally have the answer to the question because he's refused to play in Inter Miami's game coming up against Sporting Kansas City and Kansas City. So it's supposed to be. Oh, I have to do the translation in my head between freedom units and metric.
yeah, we don't do your American temperature gauges,
Yeah.
Colin. Sorry.
So it's supposed to be eight. It's supposed to be 18. It's supposed to feel like 18 below in Fahrenheit. So that's some unholy number in
That is
Celsius.
ridiculous, to be fair. Yeah.
Wait, minus
And it's supposed to be
18.
snowing, but he's effectively refused. They're trying to decide whether or not they're going to hold the game, and that's still an open discussion. But he said no, I'm not going to play. So
Minus
we have
27.
universally answered.
I think I'm on
Yeah, we've
Messi's side with this.
universally answered that question.
Well,
Well,
We don't
welcome
even
to
get that weather in
CONCACAF football.
Stoke. So
I can
Yeah.
say
Welcome to CONCACAF.
I can say minus 27. The coldest I ever coached in was minus 25. Standing on the touchline in my local town, actually, against Eiger when I was managing Bieka. And I can tell you now, it was cold. And
And to be fair, that's home field advantage during World Cup qualifying when it used to make a difference. We made, I forget who it was. It was in the cycle where we missed the World. I think it was the cycle where we missed the World Cup. We made one of the Central American teams drag into Colorado and play in basically a sideways snowstorm that they didn't play well in. So home field advantage.
I'm Paul. I've got to mention this. You did a Football Manager experiment. Are you ready for this one? A team full. You've got to guess this, Paul. What experiment did you do? You did a team full of former Ipswich and Newcastle defender.
Oh.
He played for
Titus
Sunderland.
Bramble.
Titus Bramble. That's what.
Yes.
A team full of Titus Brambles might be the greatest Football Manager experiment of all time.
I had a weird obsession with him,
You
and
also-
also Wesley Brown.
You also did a Gareth Bale of Real Madrid experiment. It's like you knew what was going to happen.
I know. I predicted it.
Yeah,
that would have been before. Obviously, he went to Real Madrid. So.
But I'm looking there. The English Premiership swapped with the blue square. See,
I did that one every year for like 5 years in a row.
You always did them.
That was the one I did repeat. I did try to be original because I know a lot of people hate them now because it's just the same old stuff being posted by everyone.
I mean,
but I did. I mean, it wasn't at the time when I did it, of course.
It's a very, very small group of people who hate them, and they always say the haters shout louder than the people who like the content. Because if people
it's just
hated
people on
it,
Reddit, isn't it?
Yeah, and if people hated it, they wouldn't be whacking out the views that they're getting. Like the views they are getting on this content is insane. So, and by the way,
I understand their perspective because obviously some people do the same video every year, and I get why they do it because it is for views. But I understand the perspective of why someone would be like, "This is just really repetitive."
I would apologise, but I need that £3 that I get from the videos or whatever. I posted in our chat the picture of the Northman
it's
Region Rover shirt. I mean, I needed a shave, I can see on that. But 17th of January 2019. I know, that was back when I had hair. Check me out. I look younger now.
Yeah, so it's 6 years ago.
6 years ago, I got that shirt, and it was a good quality shirt, by the way. But it isn't.
They were really cheap as well. They were from some company called Tribefire, which set up essentially to help YouTubers.
Weren't they based in a different country?
Australia, I think.
Australia, I thought it was. I was thinking because I got your shirt. And who else's Football Manager shirt
I think
did I get?
Lelujo did stuff, didn't he?
No, I'd rather stick forks in my eyes.
There's a few people back then that.
Yeah, I got a shirt from
them.
someone. I just can't think who it was. I got a couple of things. I got Grasshopper from Grasshopper sent me a cup, for example, the Glass and Gear podcast one. And he sent me a poster of like the manager he was doing and stuff. But I can't think who else shirt I got. I'll have to have a think.
I think they went bust because I think they were selling them too cheap.
Yeah, I mean it was a good shirt. I wore it a lot.
Oh, that's
So
lovely to hear.
we're going to end by looking at your 4 best videos. So you did
As in
100
most viewed or best?
most viewed. We can't go
Okay.
on best because then that's just a loving of what we
Subjective.
thought. Yeah, exactly. So your 2018 FIFA World Cup simulated 100 times experiment got
See,
324,000 views.
yeah, this video was released at a time where I had to make a decision really as to whether I was gonna really give YouTube a go or it just carry on as sort of a side thing. And it did just carry on as a side thing, and I'm glad it did in a way, because if I'd made that decision to quit my day job and go over YouTube, I mean, it was still nowhere near like what I was earning from YouTube. It was nowhere near my day job, so it would have been a massive decision, and I'm glad I didn't make that decision. But that video it went viral because it was picked up by like the media, but not just sort of online media. There was an article in the Times newspaper here in the UK that discussed this video.
Yeah,
It was bizarre. So I've actually got a copy. Someone sent me a copy of the Times
that's
because I
nice if
didn't
you got a
realize it was
copy of
in.
it.
I didn't realize it was in there. But funnily enough, it was the parody Carlton Cole Twitter account that sent it to me. Weirdly,
What a
um,
random.
I know. I tweeted out saying, "Oh, apparently I was in the Times. Does anyone have a copy?" And he direct messaged me and said he did. So he sent it to me in the post.
Well,
Cool.
I'm
And it
looking
wasn't
at
like TV in Qatar or somewhere. Like
what.
it was like on some random Qatari TV channel, and they had this they had the video up and they were discussing it. It was really weird.
Well, I'm looking at your 3 next biggest videos: 324,000 views, 228,000, and 216,000. You've given me an idea for FM26, by the way, because
Are they just first look?
all
First
of
look
them
at
are
FM.
first look at 3D
Yeah.
match engine gameplay and reaction.
Yes,
Like, that's insane. Is it the title, do you think, which you're clicking people in on? Or, like,
think so.
because
I don't really remember, but I think, yeah, I guess it would have been when they released the trailers and they released some footage. So they'd often release one video which had like the match
yeah,
engine,
yeah. Do
or
you
the
think
graphics
every
engine.
single year when you release the trailers, you get people tweeting going, let's wait for the YouTubers' reaction videos? Well, I'm sorry, but
I don't know.
you've got another one on the line below with 170,000 views. So you're closing in on 1 million views on 4 videos where you're just doing a reaction to the trailer.
I mean, I'm not
So,
getting views now, Paul. So
well,
it's probably
no.
not.
People are counting how much money you're making off all that.
Well, I can tell you, I earn between £6 to £10 a month from
Well,
YouTube
it's
now.
not much. It's not much less than me. But
Yeah,
people,
that's what I'm earning. So that's that's the truth. I'm earning £6 to £10 a month from YouTube because I don't
pays
release.
for a
That's the
coffee.
thing with well, yeah, it's great. I mean, I'm not doing anything and I'm earning £6 to £10 a month. But it's because Football Manager videos, they're sort of and actually, interestingly, most of that's coming from a series of Championship Manager 0102 I did,
Yeah.
because that's kind of like timeless. People will search for that sort of Championship
Right.
Manager stuff. Whereas Football Manager, there's one released every year until this year, and so once that game's over, it's old news, isn't it? People aren't going to be watching a Let's Play series from FM16. They want to be watching the new stuff.
You'd
So
be shocked
it's not timeless.
if I go to my analytics on my phone now. By the way, I always tell people that I'm not going to be one who doesn't reveal what I earn. I think I earn about between £30 and £50 a month, which it pays for like my Premiere Photoshop and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say there is, if I go to my analytics for the last 28 days, I have my third highest video is a Football Manager 23 video, and my sixth highest video is a Football Manager 23 video. And I have a YouTube short, which is from FM23, which absolutely racks in the views.
I noticed that actually. I went on your channel and looked at your most viewed, and it was some short, wasn't it?
Yeah,
From
there's a short which like went mental for about a month.
But they
Um,
don't get. I mean, they shorts. I don't really know much about shorts because it's kind of they became a thing after I stopped. But yeah, they're basically like TikTok, aren't
I
they?
was
You
speaking
can
to my
get
son
tons
about.
of views, but it won't make you any money or
No, I was
anything.
speaking to my son about my shorts because he's at the age now where he wants to make. He wants to make a YouTube channel, and I said you can do when you're 13. So
Mm.
now he's basically, I said, but what you should do is just make videos now and practice editing them and stuff, so you actually know what you're doing. Let's have a look. So no, it's not that one. Stop wasting money on Football Manager. Has 191,000 views. Okay, a
It did make
YouTube
me laugh because I
short.
thought, of course, it's about money because you're obsessed with like making money on Football Manager. You've not changed, have you?
No,
No,
no, no. I haven't evolved. But that video with 191,000 views has made me 131 kroner, which is about £7.
Yeah, that's short. Yeah, shorts just doesn't do anything, does it?
It doesn't do anything. I think some people like when my son saw it, he goes, oh my god, you have such a," and I'm like, don't get excited,
Yeah.
calm down, calm down. It's you're getting yourself worked up.
It's still something to be proud of, though. Definitely. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, but then I've got like how to set up your perfect database in Football Manager's got 27,000 views, and that's made me £40.
and
So
that's
it's
a
like,
regular video.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
a regular video.
Yeah.
Yeah, average view duration on that is 1 minute 54 as well, which is 40% of the video. So it's not even like it's a stupidly long video and stuff. So you see the difference. But what I would say is YouTube Shorts. I think that 191,000 has gained me about 50 subscribers.
Yeah.
So if you can put out, say, one short a week on the new Football Manager, you're going to slowly tick in new subscribers, which hopefully then go over to your other content. It's like when I'm creating the experiments I sometimes put out on the channel. I put out a couple of weeks ago. I released about 3 or 4 in a couple of week period, and all of them are just based on that idea of getting them to subscribe so they then watch the Let's Play stuff. That's all I want. I want to be able just to
yeah.
sit and make Let's Play content and get a
Mm.
group of people who then comment and communicate about the series with me. That's the aim. And like the experiments, I enjoy doing them. They're fun to do. But I couldn't have a channel which only did that. I need to have my playing Football Manager, which is the addiction side of it.
So what I've noticed from YouTube, like I occasionally look at Football Manager stuff, like Zealand. Those sorts of videos that he releases, he doesn't really put that it's Football Manager 2024, for example. At the time, it's just Football Manager, because I suppose that makes it searchable forever. It's not just you're not just talking about one game. Like interestingly, I've just had a look. My top 5 videos for the last month are the first one. The top one was a Football Manager 2008 episode 1 series, and then there's a Championship Manager 0102. There's something about installing Championship Manager 0102, then another 0102 episode, and then me talking just a one-off video talking about Championship Manager 9900. So those are my top 5. They're all like really old games, like these sorts of retro games, I suppose.
I think not that long ago I installed 0102 again on my computer, and I used your video to understand how to do it. So I guess if
Does it work
people like
anymore?
me, like the basic instructions of how it works still work.
Okay,
But
that's
I
good.
had like a different link from someone else which had posted on FM Scout. I think I got it off. I'm fairly sure it was FM Scout, but don't quote me on that. So, what's your opinion on? And Colin, I'm going to ask you this as well because I went to download a data update last week before I started my new series on the channel, and I saw Sorted Out SI had 2 options: your regular database, which is updated every day, or you could pay £5 for a more detailed version with new Wonder Kids and stuff in it. What's your opinion, Paul, on people charging for that kind of stuff?
I don't know. You go ahead, Colin. You've not spoken much, so I feel like I'm
I'm
taking over here.
you're all good. No,
so many memories of back in the day, and and I was actually just dragged up because I had sort of a similar, right, because we were all doing, we were all making videos and whatnot through, 12 or 14, 15, 16. I think 16 was when I gave up because it was too much, and when the pandemic hit here and I was in lockdown, and since I'm not at that job anymore, I will readily admit that while I was sitting in meetings most of the day, I was I was sitting and just playing. So I revisited some. That's where I revisited my Billericay Town save and finally finished that
Ooh,
off from
Billericay
like
Town.
FM. That was from FM 13. That's what originally got me to FM Central. Was I was struggling with. I got to like I think League Two or League
Hmm.
One, and I hit an absolute brick wall, and I couldn't figure out what to do. And that's what got me to FM Central, was trying to figure out what to do.
Needed help with
So I
finances.
no, I still. Oh, you'd be absolutely throwing a fit if you saw what Truro's financial state is right now.
Oh no.
Um, I think I've lost 154 million this season so far.
150
Uh,
million.
yeah,
Nice.
that's
Oh,
okay. I'll make it up in the summer. On I'll sit like one guy. I'll make it up on, which is okay. Um, but so I actually went back and I was looking. So I decided I wasn't going to do videos because I just didn't want to do that anymore. So I wrote. So I actually have, and I'm still looking because they're all still there. Was from January 5th. I started it, or January 4th, 2021, and I documented just about, for most part, it was like almost daily, all the way through the end of 10 seasons through the 1st of April, and when I played with Cruzeiro in Brazil and made them the
ah,
winningest team in CONMEBOL,
I feel like
the
winningness
winningest
isn't a
club
word.
team.
Is it a word, Paul?
I think the same, but I think it's an American thing.
Ugh, Americans.
Yeah. The most decorated CONMEBOL club team in there. And then I actually started the first post for the save I was going to follow up on after it, and I think I just waved a white flag and said screw it on
Just
that one. Um,
sorry, Colin. Go ahead.
no, but on to your actual question, I mean, I don't begrudge as long as the fee's reasonable. I sort of don't begrudge because it's a ton of work to pull all of that information across world football together into a database. Um, and I think there is an opportunity to fill the void that SI has left right now. For lots of reasons, whether good, whether bad, or any of those kind of spaces. I think they've left a pretty sizable hole with an unclear future, and for engaging entrepreneurs, I think there is an opportunity for nominal fee of keeping up to date databases for like FM24 Live. I suspect that people are going to be reluctant to want to change out of it at the moment, given all the other struggles and issues. So, you know, if they're putting in the work for it, yeah, it's not the end of the world, I suppose.
That's fair. I mean, I get what you mean. It's a small nominal fee for the hard work they put in. Just an update. Winningest is a informal North American English word.
There we go.
Yeah.
There you go.
See, you're just making words up now, Colin, and we now have, just to keep you happy so Trump doesn't come and kick off at us, we added to the dictionary. It says
Hey,
it's from the
oh,
Oxford languages, so it's been added officially. Winningest. Just sounds wrong, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I think that's
not
fair
my
though,
fault. You
Colin.
can't embrace it.
But yeah, I agree, Colin. I think that's a fair point what you've made there. Really, I couldn't disagree with that. Really.
You know, we've been recording now for 39 minutes, and I'm just looking at the topics. And from all the topics I wanted to do, we've ticked off one, and that's my man love of Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
After that, we've been pretty shocking. So I'll tell you
I mean,
what.
we've got to this point and we've not talked about the big news in the Football Manager world.
In the
How has that happened?
You mean my new save?
Oh yeah, of course. Are you leaving Bulgaria?
I've left Bulgaria.
You've left Bulgaria.
Oh, the episode yesterday I left. Come on,
No,
Paul.
no, I did watch it, but I didn't know you might have got another job in
Yeah,
Bulgaria.
actually, that's true because that's ruined it, hasn't it? Oh no, but this podcast comes out on the YouTube channel on Thursday. It goes live audio wise as soon as we finish recording. So technically, the Wednesday's episode where I reveal my new club will already have happened. So I can say that we did leave Bulgaria. So if you're listening to the audio, maybe skip forward a few minutes if you don't want to know what happened. But we've ended up going to Slovakia.
Oh.
Just for reference, you're supposed to say spoiler alert before you
I don't
spoil
care. I
it.
just told them. I said skip forward. If they didn't listen, it's their fault.
Yeah, but you said you said I left and moved and left Bulgaria. Hold on, skip forward.
It's too late.
Wrong way round.
I don't
yeah.
think you
Okay.
understand how spoiler alerts work.
I don't care. I want to talk about my save. So I left Sportist Svogga after finishing second. So we won promotion. So my first ever season, we've won promotion. I've ended up going to a club who I'd never heard of. Okay, and let's put it this way: tomorrow's episode is I can't believe what happened because the club is called Tresin Football Club Tresin. Okay, they won the league title in 14-15 and 15-16 in Slovakia. But I have to say, unless they've changed the badge, and that's why I don't recognise them, because the badge looks very modern. You know, like Mets have changed their badge to like a cool one. It's kind of like that. 2 upside down L's, which look like a T, basically. But yeah, they've just been relegated to the second tier, so we've took over another team in the second tier. But they have the second best youth facilities in the nation, and as we did the introduction to the club in Wednesday's episode on YouTube, I was blown away by the amount of 15, 16-year-olds who were good enough to go in the first team. Like, their team is insane. Now, we are 1-91 odds on to go back up this season. So, I guess pressure's on me to be successful for 2 years in a row on a journeyman. We still don't have a coaching badge. I asked them as soon as we come, and they said, no, the staff is too stretched. So, yeah, but it's quite nice to do a journeyman where you're starting with nothing, like no reputation, no badges, nothing. And I'm trying to do it realistically because I got offered a job in Latvia before I took this job. But Latvia's only one division, and I kind of felt like it was almost unrealistic to be going to a top division club so early on. So I've kind of purposely gone to a club who dropped down to the second tier again, and we'll see where we go from there. Maybe if I take them up, I've then maybe earned the chance to go to a top division club in one of these Eastern European nations, for example. I'm not sure, Paul. What do you think? You've done a few journeymans in your time.
I usually give up very early on, but I know I agree. I think try and keep it as realistic as possible. It's brought back memories of my FM20. I think it was FM23 or FM22. I did like a British Isles journeyman, and I think I started in Wales and moved to Northern Ireland. I can't remember who I managed, but I had this. It was actually really fun, and I think that's the best thing that's happened stepping away from YouTube. I've actually really enjoyed just playing Football Manager and having fun, just playing and not worrying about, oh, I need to make a video now. I've just it made me think of my university days before I set up YouTube. Sort of FM11, FM12. I just loved those games so much because I just played instead of studying. Of course, I played Football Manager.
Well, who needs to study?
Exactly, and it's I don't know. Obviously, I don't have the time now. I've got a job and family, but when I do play, it just it reminds me of. I mean, I've only just started season 12, and I've been playing for exactly a year. Like at university, I'd be on season 12 by a month in or something. So yeah, that just shows the difference.
I don't know about you, Colin, and you can answer this well, obviously after Paul. When I first became single a few years ago, I closed down my YouTube channel because there was loads of videos with my ex on it playing GeoGuessr and stuff. didn't want to look at that again. So I played an offline save, and you almost felt like you were cheating by not sharing any of it. I don't know about you, Colin. When you stepped away, and did you almost feel like you wanted to document it by writing because you had to somehow document what you're doing?
So one, I'm gonna highlight a level of partial embarrassment. So you took a year to get to 12 seasons. So I started Truro on October 15th. I'm now in season 18.
I mean,
That's
So
impressive.
oof.
when we
Apparently I got to figure out my free time problem.
when we
Um,
finished, I'm going to message your wife and just ask if she's okay.
I play a lot while I'm sitting around doing other things because sometimes it's a good distraction.
Colin, shall we go
Um,
out? No, not today. I'm a bit busy.
I'll say when I immediately like after I finished stop, I actually didn't play for a while, and then I kind of got back in and actually reasonably enjoyed just playing just without the expectation, right? Because at some point, at least because we when we did the Truro and the FC United of Manchester like race to the top, and that at some point it felt really pressured to keep playing, to keep trying to like every negative result was brutal, trying to figure out what was going on, how to stop that. I felt like I felt really pressured to be a near perfect player, if that makes sense. And then when I stopped and came back, I it was sort of really liberating where it was like, hey, I'm just playing and nobody cares. Nobody's ever going to see it. I'm not going to get a comment. Not that anybody watched it in the first place, but like it was just me. And if it was bad or I lost something, like that was it. There was nothing magic about it. When I came back in the pandemic and kind of our lockdown type stuff, and I I didn't want to forget it, I guess is more. I wasn't writing about it for anybody else to see. It was more that I wanted to put down a record because it was a save like I'd never done before, right? It was at the time Crucero had, they were, I mean they still are of the more a kind of iconic teams in Brazil. They had absolutely fallen apart. It was, I mean, a super fallen giant type series, club and that kind of series. And it's a good friend of mine. It's his home club. So he got into it. We were, we listened on the internet to, radio broadcasts, and he'd like translate while we were listening at times while, at work and things like that. So when I took him over, it was one of those where it was like, I knew that it was to kind of rebuild them and build them back up was going to be a save that was going to be big and that I was going to enjoy, but it was probably going to be over faster than I wanted it to be, and I didn't want to forget it. So that's what I kind of wrote it as, was something that I could look at and I was going to remember,
Yeah.
And oddly enough, it's the only save I've ever done where I actually got a shirt made for a player that I had on it. And I actually still have it. I still have the shirt.
I always consider them posters. You know what, you see people who've printed out a poster of like a goal from a save or something. I always think I don't have them moments. So if I do, I'll probably forget them. Like I forget when I'm looking back 10 games back. Paul, Colin mentioned something that I want to bring up with you. About feeling the pressure. Did you, when you were getting close to the end of producing content on your channel, did you feel like you had an obligation to your subscribers or pressure to your subscribers to produce content? And was that one of the things which almost was a weight lifted when you did step away? Because I know personally when I was torn on what to start now in terms of my new save, I have restless nights with content in terms like I just feel like I'm not producing good content, or feel like I can't produce an idea, or I don't have time to do it. And luckily my wife's absolutely spot on when it comes to stuff like that. She calms me down and just kind of points at the family and goes, you've got an actual family and your PC's supposed to be your relaxing time, not when you're not playing on it, you sit on the sofa stressed out. So, like, and I know that's an issue before someone says, well, why are you doing it if you're stressed out? Calm down. If I wanted to shrink, I'd pay for one. How did you cope then, Paul, near the final days and in your prime, shall we say, as well?
Yeah, I guess occasionally I felt a bit of pressure. I felt pressure to be good at the game, I think, as you alluded to, Colin. Yeah, I felt like I need to hit these targets or something in a game. Otherwise, people are going to think I'm a fraud or something. So I guess a bit towards the end, I don't know, it just sort of was starting to fizzle out before COVID hit in March 2020. I'd sort of slowed down a bit anyway, and so it's hard. But also, it's so many years ago; it's hard to remember, Paul. To be honest,
no, that's fair.
like how I actually felt. So much has changed since then. Like it seems like a different life. It seems like I don't know. I just feel like a completely different person to back then as well. So it's hard to remember the specific feelings. But there was definitely pressure at times, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I feel like there was a spot somewhere in there, and I don't know, that as people were starting to do like the like Park the Prem type series, and I don't remember any, but I still remember that I feel like there was a whole, as a handful of people started to do like back to back to back to back, and trying to do doing it in 5 seasons, you're in the Premier League, and all that was same that same problem was like, oh my god, am I not good at this? Are people going to think that I have no idea what I'm doing? It's like that's more trouble than I think it's worth.
Yeah, I think that's such a fair point. That does the viewer expect perfection? What does the viewer tune into your channel for? I guess the questions which, like, I guess myself as the main creator out of us three in terms of at this moment, it's one of them things which I ask myself. I know I have that addiction of checking the numbers, checking if people are watching my videos, and I suffer from them moments of feeling down because you're not getting the views you feel like your videos should get, because you produce a good episode or you're producing a good series which has a good storyline behind it. And like my journey with Egerson, taking them from the third tier in Norway to winning the Champions League, and at that point the views were drying up, and you think to yourself, oh man, people are not seeing this journey, people are not seeing the history we are making. So I guess you're always going to have that pressure, aren't you? And people are always going to compare you to someone else. If somebody does it in 5 seasons, why did you take 8? If someone did it in 10, why did you take 20? But I guess it's trying to learn how to manage it, and I'm definitely not at that point of understanding how to manage it myself. I have them nights where I'm restless trying to work out what the content is, but I'm quite lucky at the minute where my daughter's just over 13 months, so she's keeping me very active when I'm home. So so it's kind of it's a distraction from this kind of stuff, which is nice.
That's good. I think it depends what your goal is with YouTube. Like mine was, I just enjoyed playing Football Manager and making videos and seeing people enjoy them. But some people, their goal is to have a career in YouTube, I suppose. But I think if that isn't your goal, or if you don't see it as a realistic goal, then you just need to try and have fun. Have fun playing Football Manager. It's meant to be a fun game.
Yeah, that's it. And I mean, if you ask me what's my goal is to produce a series which I look back on and think, geez, that is good content. And at the minute, I definitely would say on this series so far, when I've watched them back. Normally, I don't watch my content back, but I've watched them back, and I'm definitely talking too quickly. I'm definitely a bit too scattergun about the episodes. So that is something now that almost I've got a trial period leading up to FM26 of now I've got all that time in the world to kind of just perfect how I want an episode to come across and perfect how I want it to try to build some structure behind the episodes, and that's probably what I'm going to work on over the next few weeks, I think, or few months at this point.
Yeah. You've mentioned FM26, Paul.
Yeah, we can.
Do you think?
We can end
Firstly,
on that. We can end on that. Yeah, come on.
Well, firstly, obviously, the big news that FM25 has been cancelled. But do you actually think Football Manager 2026 is going to be called Football Manager 2026?
To who?
Could it be called
officially or?
Well, no. I mean, just what are your views? Do you think it could just be called Football Manager and be a subscription-based thing in the future?
No.
You don't think that's possible?
I think if there's a name change, it's going to be Football Manager 26. I think no matter what, people are going to call it 2026, like they call FM24. I think it's always going to have the year, so I think it's going to be 2026, but it's just going to be called 26 because it's what they do in the modern day. They shorten stuff down, don't they?
Well, that was what was FM25 was going to be called Football Manager 25, wasn't it?
Yeah,
so
but
they've already started that, I guess.
We were always going to call it 2025. Like, let's be honest, no matter what the game's called, we'll call it something else. It's like Nugents and Regions, isn't it? We don't call it Region Wolves for nothing.
Yeah, still call them Regens.
Yes, same. But sometimes I do it just to wind people up. I think that FM26 is their last chance at how Football Manager is now. I think if it doesn't come out by November, and I think it should come out in October, to be honest with you, but if it doesn't come out in by November, I think we will be looking at a spin-off game which would take a couple of years. I just can't see them surviving another mistake, so I think it has to come out by then. But my concern is FM26 now just FM25? So it's going to be missing international management. It's going to be missing this and this and this and this.
I hope not. I hope they, bring some of those things that they said had been pulled out of the game.
Yeah,
like international management. I just think, I think they need to get that in there for FM26.
I can't
believe in a World Cup cycle. It's inexcusable.
Yeah, they have to get it in there.
I can't believe they took it out and said that it wasn't up to form. I mean, we've said that for about 20 years and they still kept it in. So
I thought the game was going to be cancelled for those sorts of reasons from very early on. I remember tweeting saying, this is a very strange marketing sort of approach that all of the news so far, this was in August or September, is the announcement that things have been removed. There wasn't any, this is what is in the game. It was, this is what's been removed from the game.
Yeah, we've got.
And I just thought this is a bad sign. I won't be surprised if this is cancelled or postponed massively. And obviously we had the news that it was postponed until March, but I was not surprised in the slightest when it was cancelled. I don't think anyone really was in the end.
No. I was happy because it put an end to what's going on type thing. So it was nice that it just happened, and like I say, I've got this journeyman now. It'll keep me going. So the world hasn't ended type thing.
Yeah, I'm happy because it might mean I actually release a video on this save because I was thinking, it's getting close to March, and I want to get it out before the new game comes out. If I am to make a video, it's bought me a few months.
And I will say that, as they did say in their statement, the money was transferred into my Steam wallet. So the money's now...
was it automatically then?
Yeah, it automatically just transferred. I wasn't even going to request it back, to be honest with you. I kind of thought to myself, do you know what? Like, I'm not rich, but we're also not poor. Like, so they can just keep my...
They're not a charity, Paul.
Honestly, I thought to myself, keep our 50 quid, and I'll just buy the next one as well. I'm not that... If
just wanted FM25 to be in your Steam library so you could have the continuity of all of them, didn't you? I'm glad it was automatic because I think it would have been terrible if it wasn't automatically paid back. Because there would have been people that just were oblivious
and
they bought the game and
Yeah, they
You know,
don't know what's
they might
happening.
have. I don't know. They might have just not requested the refund, and I think there would have been people like that.
I'm not sure if we discussed this on the last podcast or not, but I did actually say as well, I would be willing for them to keep that 50 quid just to have just have FN25 on my Steam library, like you said. So I've got
I
the
think you
list.
mentioned it. Yeah.
Like that's all I was happy
Yeah.
for. I was like, oh please, just I can't have one missing. It would give me the shakes. But I guess
But I
they've.
think
Well,
so.
maybe they're going to
Paul,
call
you
it
made a-
FM25.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
I
But
wouldn't
I
be
think
shocked.
you made an interesting point, Paul, that I think, and I've heard a few people mentioned it, and kind of I think there's some validity into it, of rather than an every year game with content. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, right, fundamentally what really changes year to year between the FMs is it's the players, right? It's
Yeah.
new academy prospects and all that. So fundamentally a base game that just stays intact, and obviously like a live, almost a updatable where they just they update in that, and then really just a subscription to updated player league information for seasons kind of makes almost more sense to me in because if like I was kind of playing around looking at it after we were talking the last time, and I mean if you really think about it, like what else changes? I mean, there's not that much in terms of other than like messing around with with trying to clean certain aspects and features of the game up, but it doesn't change, right? I mean, they've mucked with like press conferences every year for a decade, but fundamentally, like they're still the same and they're still just as useless as they ever were. Um,
I think
but
I'm
yeah,
correct in
an
saying
interesting
that.
model.
I think I'm correct in saying that they've basically used the same engine since Championship Manager 0304, which was
I
the
think
last
so.
change, which was strangely also a game that was postponed until March. I guess March 2004. Um, I think I've seen people talking about that on Reddit and things, but I'm pretty sure that's when they last updated the match engine, and I think that's when they first introduced 2D as well. Before that was just text. I didn't have the game. I didn't own that game. I owned 0102, and then the next game after that was Football Manager 2005. But I'm pretty sure 0304 was when they did that was the last major update they did, and since then they've just been tweaking it and tweaking it and tweaking it.
I mean,
every year.
Yeah.
I can confirm I've had every single one since '97. I can also confirm that I couldn't tell you what I had for dinner last week, so I definitely can't tell you what they did on 03 and 04.
I think that's right. I'm pretty sure it's that one that they did a major change.
But
They
I
implemented
think
the 2D graphics engine.
this might sound stupid, but I preferred it when the menu, for example, on Football Manager was along the top and not down the side. When they changed it to the
You sound
side,
stupid.
I quite liked it
I'm
down
not
the
fussed.
side, but I preferred it up on the top.
Yeah, I don't care.
Now, these slight changes year after year I quite like, and my fear if they just say, right, every couple of years we update something, can you just pay in between for like a DLC? I don't know. I just don't like change. I don't like change. I don't want them to change it to like a subscription where 1 year we just get an updated roster or whatever. Oh my god, I just said roster. Go, Colin, what have you done?
You don't like change, but you want them to have little changes.
Yeah,
every
but that's
year.
different.
But it still changes.
Look, all right, I don't know
If anything,
what I
there's going to be
want.
less change if they
I
implement
don't-
this new thing.
I don't know what I want. I don't know how I want it. I don't know when I want it. I just want something.
I think I'm the same. I don't know if it's I'm not saying I want a subscription-based thing and it just to be called Football Manager. I'm just putting it out there. Do you think
Yeah.
that's a possibility? But because they did in their announcement of canceling FM25, they just said the next game. They didn't say FM26.
Yeah.
They just said the next game.
Just in case it comes
Yeah.
in 27. That's all it was.
But they might, yeah. Well,
Surprise.
That is true. That could be the case.
But no, I think we're going to end it there. We've had our longest ever podcast since the return.
You can blame me.
I'm absolutely over the moon that you chose to come on, Paul, and come out of retirement is what we can say.
Thank you. It's an honour to be invited on.
Colin, as always, thank you very much.
Of course. No, this was a lot of fun. This was This was an awesome trip to Days Gone By.
This is what we wanted with a Football Manager podcast, not us coming on week after week, crying our eyes out about Football Manager getting cancelled. We've now put it to the back of our minds, and we've discussed the fact that in 2013, Golden FM made a team of Titus Brambles.